Poker Tour. The biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. The WPT is a series of international high-stakes poker tournaments that can turn amateur players into millionaires and make professionals into superstars. With millions of dollars on the line, it's time for these 6 players to live the dream of fame, fortune, and the one thing money can't buy, a WPT title. Tonight on the World Poker Tour.
The WPT is back in the heartland of poker for the final 6, and it's full steam ahead for the WPT title, so shuffle up and deal.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike Sexton. Welcome to the World Poker Open from the Gold Strike Casino.
And I'm Vince Van Patten, and we are just seconds away from one of our best final tables of the season, no doubt about it.
Well, top pros from all over come to the heartland of poker, Tunica, Mississippi, to try and claim this WPT title.
That's right, Mike, and this is a very prestigious title. Former winners have included Scotty Wynn, Barry Greenstein, and David Devilfish Elliott. They all won right here. They want to win this one tonight.
Well, they sure do, no doubt about it. And we've got some big names at this final table tonight.
Oh, boy, that's right. We have 3 of the biggest names in poker, 2 WPT champions, Freddie Deeb and Hoyt Cowboy Corkins, and Men Wynn, one of the best tournament players in the world.
And along with them, we have 2 savvy poker players from the South and 1 lone amateur, a former collegiate wrestler who thinks he can pin all these guys.
All right, who's going to be the next World Poker Open champion from the banks of the mighty Mississippi? Let's go watch him gamble.
So here we go, the final table of the World Poker Open about to get underway. We started 4 days ago with 259 players. We are down to our final 6, one of whom is going to walk away with nearly $900,000 tonight.
Andy's going to start at $3,000. The blinds are going to be $10,000 and $20,000. We are down to 6 players as hand number 1 is about to begin.
Well, action's going to be on. WPT champion Freddie Deeb. Freddie's also the chip leader at this final table. With a little over 1.3 million in chips. He folds.
Brett Faustman also going out. And now Men the Master, a great poker champion, very tricky player. He's going to fold his hand.
Men's been Poker Player of the Year on several occasions.
Now, Gabe Costa, the tough Southern poker professional, folding his hand around to Cowboy Hoyt Corkins.
Another WPT champion, making his 4th WPT final table appearance. And here comes Hoyt. And Hoyt puts in heavyweight bets. And here comes one, $200,000. Just going to put the pressure on John Spadavecchia.
Well, Hoyt's got ace-deuce, the button, and he's putting the pressure, like you said, Mike, on Spadavecchia, who's coming in as the short stack, only has $250,000, and he's got the better hand. He's got ace-6.
Well, John's a retired businessman, but has played a lot of big-time poker tournaments over the last 20 years, so professional poker players don't consider this guy an amateur by any means.
He hasn't said a word yet, but, you know, he does look and sound a lot like the actor, that Joe Pesci guy. How am I funny, huh? How am I funny? Like a clown?
I've been playing poker for over 20 years. I play with all the greats. I'm very comfortable. In fact, I'm not intimidated at all. Well, I'm a very tight, aggressive player. I'm always a threat when I'm at a final table.
Spadavecchia's had some great tournament results in his past. They all respect him. Right now, he's got a decision, and what a call this would be. A big chance to double up on his stack.
Well, John's starting out on the short stack at this final table. He's going to have to commit all his chips if he plays this pot. Do you really want to put all your chips in the first deal with an ace-6 offsuit?
Oh, look at this. The Cowboy's going to get away with it. He takes down the pot. Spadavecchia can't take the heat.
So already, Cowboy Hoyt Corkins doing a little bulldogging at this final table. Hoyt started out tonight in 5th chip position. But Vince, we know the way he plays. When he sends his chips out there, there's a good chance he's either going to double up or get broke. He is not afraid to ship it.
He is the 2nd short stack here this evening. But be careful. But that is just a word that Hoyt Corkins does not know.
All right, action's going to be on the amateur player, Brett Faustman. Brett's a 4-time varsity letterman for Central Michigan in wrestling.
He's also an insurance man, not a professional player, but he's got a lot of chips. He's going to fold his hand. Men the Master also going out.
Now it's around to the young professional player out of Florida, Gabe Costner.
He goes away, so it's up to Hoyt Corkins again, and this time he's picked up a nice hand. Ace-10 of diamonds.
And look at this, Vince. It's not a lightweight bet. Another heavyweight bet by Hoyt Corkins. This time, $300,000.
Yeah, he's going to push it pretty strongly in there. Now, this time, Spadavecchia has a nothing 7-3 offsuit, and he goes out.
Is this a bigger hand than the last one or a worse hand?
Freddie D loves to talk at the table. Wants to know if it's a bigger hand this time than it was last time. But I can tell you one thing. Hoyt doesn't say much at the table, if anything.
You had a 200,000 hand last time.
Very quiet player, by all the players, but it's all business when he's sitting down.
It's okay, you got it.
Well, Freddie can't do anything about it. So Hoyt Corkins takes down another set of blinds and antes. He's sending a message to all these guys. You're going to have to gamble for your chips because Hoyt Corkins is the master of big bet poker.
Just was wondering, was it a worse hand or a bigger hand? Which one is it, though?
It was better.
Was it? More, yeah, the price goes up when the hand is better.
So Hoyt Corkins taking the first 2 pots. We are just getting started here on the Mississippi River. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action from the WPT.
There is people that they say that they're the best player in the world. I used to be like them maybe 10, 15 years ago. I used to be reckless, crazy, like they do. But right now I changed my style. I'm low in stack, but I'm going to make my move. I got my plan.
My trap worked. He's only got 4 outs. This guy's going home.
Come on, 9.
Sometimes making the right move isn't enough, but there's always another hand. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Welcome back to the World Poker Open here at the Gold Strike. I'm Vince Van Patten alongside Mike Sexton, where 6 players remain.
Well, this should be a great final table. We've got some really big names at this final table, including 2 WPT champions, as well as a multiple card player of the year at this table. So, exciting night here in Mississippi.
But the action is going to go on the Master. Men the Master.
Well, men well-renowned in the poker world.
In first position here, he has picked up a King-Jack offsuit. Will he elect to play? No, he goes out.
So around to Gabe Costner. Gabe, a professional player out of Long Beach, Mississippi. He's known as the Prince of Thieves. And you're getting a whiff of why right now. He's got a Queen-10 offsuit, and the guy is reaching for chips.
Yes, he is.
He's going to bet $60,000 here, just trying to pinch this pot.
Hoyt Corkins again picking up an ace, this time ace-3.
Well, Hoyt's the kind of guy that likes to make big bets with ace and baby cards, but he doesn't like calling bets with them. He's going to lay it down.
Yes, and now the short stack, John Spadavecchia. Can't play that hand.
Round to the small blind, WPT champ Freddie Deeb, and he's picked up a nice hand here. He's got ace-queen offsuit. He's going to take the conservative route here, just calls with the ace-queen.
Brett Fossman with a King-Jack in the big blind. Does he want to play?
Well, a lot of money out there, Vince. Well, Brett Faustman going to make the call also out of the big blind. So 3-way action here. And let me add, these are the 3 chip leaders. Well, flop is Jack 8-7 with 2 spades. No help to Freddie.
Check.
Good one, though, for Brett Fossman. He the top pair of jacks.
So he checks the top pair of jacks.
Now it's around to Gabe, who hit nothing there, and he's going to check.
Well, he's got a gut shot straight draw. 9 will give him the nuts, as we say, but he's going to check it and take the free one off. Now the king of diamonds comes off.
2 pair for Brett Fossman. Action on Freddie, quickly checking. And right behind him, Brett again going to check.
Well, Vance, the Prince of Thieves, now has an open-end straight draw. And he's going to fire this time. Looks like $150,000. Yeah, you know, Freddie didn't like that. He would like to draw him for free here to try to make this ace-high straight, but he's not going to pay $150,000 to get it.
Folds his hand. Now Fossman, who's setting the trap here all along, in a great place to get aggressive.
Got the top 2 pair, Vance. Just a powerful hand here. Let's see how he's going to play it.
Raise.
There you go.
Well, he is going to raise it. He's going to put the reversal on this pro out of Mississippi right now. Let's see how much he's going to raise it.
250 more.
$250,000 more, he says. Right now, Gabe Costner saying to himself, why did I bet there? Why didn't I just take the free card off? But he's also saying, a lot of money out there. Nearly $750,000 in the pot. Going to cost me $250,000 more to call. Right now he's thinking about what we call implied odds. It's how much he can make if he hits this ace-high straight. In other words, it's going to cost him $250 to call, but if he makes this hand, can he get all the wrestler's chips?
Yeah, and look at the wrestler right now. He can't even look. He has put his head down like he's taking a nap here on the mat.
Vince, the guy's a wrestler. You know, those guys start out on their hands and knees all the time with their head down like this, so this is a natural position for this guy.
Yes, but this is a different mat here. This is the poker felt. This could get very costly.
Well, recognize this is going to cost this guy over 25% of his chips to make this call.
Can you have Lila check his heartbeat? See if he's awake? No? Looked like he fell asleep.
Problem with going to an open-end straight draw without one of the two flush draws, if a spade or a diamond comes up, you're still a little bit leery about having the best hand.
But he is going to call nevertheless.
Well, he is gambling here. So he has called the wrestler. Gabe looking for an ace or a 9. Did not get it as the 7 of diamonds comes off.
All in.
Just like that, Brett says, all in.
Wow, that's a scary card in itself with 3 diamonds on the board now.
I don't really like this last bet. I mean, if you get called, you're beat.
Well, Vince, the wrestler, is not intimidated, and obviously no way Gabe can make the call with just a queen high here. So he does lay it down. So chalk up a takedown to the wrestler there. Brett Faustman taking down that first pot at this final table, and with it, he takes the chip lead. Well, Vince, I talked to him before this final table started. I said, are you intimidated with all these big names at the final table? He said, well, no. He says it was much more intimidating when you're wrestling for the NCAA championship, you know, than it is just playing a few hands of cards. I've gotten this far. I got as good a chance as these guys.
Did you get him a Corona?
So right now, Brett Faustman is well out in front as our chip leader. As Man the Master says, he wants his Corona. Like that about men.
Thank you. Hurry up before he goes broke.
Yeah! Hurry up before I beat Freddie. Hello, Shorty.
Ooh, look at this.
If I got a cup of Corona, I'm talk to you.
Excuse
Look
me.
who's taller.
Excuse me.
I don't know why Man is
yeah,
calling
Randy.
Freddie Shorty. Man is actually a quarter of an inch shorter than Freddie. Did you know that?
Well, Vince, how do you know it?
I went to WPT on GSN.com and found out. Okay, it's not actually on the website there, but there is a lot of other interesting poker trivia if you want to check it out right there.
I like 10 to 1 that he cannot box against me.
I won't box against nobody. Don't worry about that.
All right.
I'm not
Well,
stupid.
Freddie and Men the Master going at it in a verbal war right here. And these guys very talkative players at the table.
I know you didn't say that, but I'm
All
just
right,
saying.
back to the hand.
I like you.
Gabe Costner, who just took the hit right there, first to act. He's got the Motown hand. Jackson 5s.
I know you 20 years. I don't think you know that.
Gonna lay it down.
Just in case you misunderstand.
Cowboy Horde Corkins looking down at a 6-3 offsuit.
Well, he's not going to get involved with that.
Now John Spadavecchia has ace deuce. He's short stacked. Will he plunge this time?
Yeah, Vince, he's going to have to make a move soon, I think. He's only got about 10 times the size of the big blind. You just hate to get under that 10 times limit because people call you a lot more often that way. He's still got enough chips to intimidate people by moving in. Let's see if he does it here.
He's going to fold his ace high, and now Freddie Deeb
60.
with a 4-3, and the button is going to raise.
Well, why not raise it with the 4 high? Freddie Deeb makes it 60,000 to go.
There we go. All right. I'll get it right.
Faustman, who has an awful looking Jack 6, he won't play, and now the Man the Master, the only one Freddie has to beat.
But I'll tell you, they may be short, but they're heavyweights on the green felt.
Where's that beer?
On the way.
Well, he wants a beer before he acts on this hand.
A nice place to steal this pot. Will he do so?
I know you're going to pick it on me.
Well,
But it's okay. Shorties look good.
so Freddie made it 60,000 to go. And the Master laying this hand down. And Vince, there's a good chance you're going to see a lot of verbal sparring tonight between Freddie and Men the Master. They like to go at it at the final table, and you give men a few more beers, they're going to go at it a lot, I can tell you.
From Tunica, Mississippi, the World Poker Open continues. Stay tuned for more on the WPT.
Hosting a WPT tournament at the Gold Strike Casino is actually the highlight of my poker career. It's exciting. All the players love it here.
They always run a good tournament here.
I really like this tournament. It's just a fun deal. Everybody's super nice.
The Gold Strike's a great venue. The action is great. of course, Southern hospitality.
How sweet that is, baby!
Welcome back to Tunica, Mississippi, where we are gambling it up here at the Gold Strike. 6 players remain and an amateur player. Brett Faustman, the former wrestler, he is our chip leader with close to $1.8 million in chips.
Well, he's got some big names in the poker world to get by if he's going to take down this title. We got 2 WPT champions at this table, and Freddie Deeb and Hoyt Corkins, as well as a multiple card player of the year and men the master win. So it's not going to be easy for this wrestler to pin these guys to the mat and take this title.
All right, action's going to go to the cowboy, Hoyt Corkins. And this time in first position, he picks up a pretty good queen jack of diamonds.
And look at this. He's making a petite raise for him, $54,000 this time.
He does Spadavecchia, and look at this. He says all in. He's got a pair of 6s. Why not?
Well, he's not waiting any longer. Figures this may be as good a hand he's going to pick up here before he gets really low on chips, so why not go with it here?
Freddie out, Brett out, Ben the Master out, and now Gabe, Prince of Thieves Costner.
I break him before he gets the beer.
He will not play, so it's back around to Cowboy.
Not now.
Now, Vince, he's got one of those hands you like to see a flop with. His problem here is he's only got about $400,000 left in chips.
Could you pull in the 54, please?
Going to cost him $150,000 to make the call.
If you broke, you don't drink with me.
So this is going to take a big portion of his chip stack to gamble here. It's not like he's got over $1 million in chips where he can afford to make this call.
152.
That's what makes this decision so tough for Hoyt.
152,000 more to Hoyt.
Hoyt is in a quandary right now.
Dang.
And he says, dang. About as much emotion as you're going to see out of Hoyt Corkins.
You know, I think you have to have a cowboy hat on to say dang and get away with it.
He knows he's going to gamble here, but does he want to take the chance to eliminate Spadavecchia from this tournament?
For the first time, we see the cowboy twitching there a little bit. Does not like to be the caller.
Get you 2 more.
He likes to be the aggressor, but nevertheless, he is going to put the chips in.
Well, he is gambling here, and he is going to like it when Spadavecchia turns up his hand, because as a card's eye, he's actually a slight favorite to win this pot. And he was getting a nice price to play it.
I'm almost a favorite. Yeah.
So we've got the race situation, the 2 overcards versus the underpair. Spadavecchia on his feet. John not saying a word, just holding his breath here in hopes that his 2 6s will stand up.
Here comes the flop.
Well, it's come King 9-5 with 2 hearts. Hoyt can catch a 10 and make a straight. He needs a queen or a jack to take the lead. So Hoyt Corkins looking for a queen, jack, or 10. Well, there it is. The queen comes right off on the turn. You see the disgusted look out of John Spadavecchia there. Battle was first WPT final table. Got outdrawn on the turn. Now he must catch a 6 to stay alive.
Pesci character looking like he wants to whack someone after that card. A 5 on the river. Not going to do it for him.
Well, that's going to do it for John Spadavecchia. Well-respected poker player out tonight in 6th place.
Well, he's a gentleman. He's shaking hands, but he's really saying, "Yeah, there's a hole in the desert. I'm digging for you, sir." Going out in 6th place, going to pick up $96,000 here in Tunica.
Puts me on the short now.
Vince, even though the other players are happy that John has gone out in 6th place, they're probably not too happy to see that the chips are going to Hoyt Corkins because they know how dangerous of a player this guy is.
The hunger of wanting to win, you can't really win without it. You don't want it to be too much where it affects your play. I've got a hunger to win. I love the WPT, and I want another WPT title.
Hoyt Corkins is a very tough poker player, and these guys know it. He's making his 4th WPT final table appearance tonight. In his 3 other appearances, he's come in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Action's going to go down to Ben the Master. This time he's got a jack, 3 of diamonds. Can't think he'll play that.
Well, Ben, a very dramatic poker player, takes his time. Finally lays down the jack 3.
And now the Prince of Thieves, Gabe Costner, with a 7-4.
Gabe lays his hand down as well. And Hoyt Corkins on the button.
Found it, Hoyt.
Just has an 8-deuce offsuit here.
Found it.
Does have position, but his problem is the 2 chip leaders are in this blind position at this final table, meaning it might be tough to raise them out of the pot. You raise on the button.
Cowboy's not going to steal there. He goes away, and probably lucky for him because Freddie Deeb has ace-king.
I haven't looked.
I'm not trying to get no tell off here. What is that? 20? I'm gonna raise it.
How
60
much?
more.
Well, Freddie Deeb raises 60,000. He makes it 80,000 to go.
With the former wrestler, Brett Fossman, with a seductive little 9-8, a suited connector of hearts.
Well, he's got the chip lead. He's got position. He's got the kind of hand you like to see a flop with, the 9-8 of hearts. So he makes the call.
You want to check it down?
So the two chip leaders going at it here. Flop comes queen, 3 deuce with 2 hearts. Brett has flopped a flush draw. Freddie Deeb still out in front with the ace high right now.
120.
But Freddie's going to come out and make the continuation bet, 120,000 with just ace high.
Now let's see how Brett's going to play his flush draw here.
Call.
Well, he's just going to call. Doesn't raise here with the flush draw. That's going to turn the caution lights on for Freddie Deeb, I'm sure. Might think his opponent has a queen in his hand or a pair.
Ooh.
Perhaps a flush draw, and the 5 of hearts comes off on the turn. Brett has made his flush. Notice Freddie is looking back to see if he had the ace of hearts or king of hearts.
Usually that is an amateur play when a guy looks down.
Check.
Usually sensing that he's looking to see whether he has a heart, and that's exactly what Freddie's doing. I'm kind of surprised at that. But he has checked it.
Well, let's see what the former wrestler is going to do now here with his flush.
150.
He's going to bet 150,000. Now, Vince, to me, this is a very small bet into a pot that's got over 400,000 in it.
You're right about that.
I think it's an amateur bet. I think you have to make a pot-sized bet here.
Don't let your guy outdraw you. Make him pay for it if he wants to stick around. And Freddie's considering this.
Well, Vince, he's considering because he's getting the right price to make the call here. And he's going to make the call here with the ace-king and the king of hearts. So Brett out in front with the flush. And the ace of hearts comes on the river. Freddie has the king of hearts in his hand. Now, the only hand that would beat him is if his opponent had the 4 hearts in it where he'd have a straight flush. But you have got to love that card if you're Freddie Deeb. I would imagine Freddie is now going to take a stab at this pot and make a bet. Some type of value bet, but no.
Check it.
Well, Brett quickly turns up his flush. Freddie turns up a winning hand with the king of hearts, but it's got to be a little disgusted with himself for not betting on the river there, getting a couple 100,000 more out of his opponent, Vance. I believe he could have done so easily had he bet 200,000 or 300,000 there.
Yeah, you got to get a little value for that, but he's not going to be as disgusted as Brett, who hit the flush, gets outdrawn on the river.
I'm sorry I didn't have the nuts.
Cards are hitting here in Tunica, Mississippi. Stay tuned. 5 players remain. We're coming back with more action on the WPT. Welcome back to the WPT. The World Poker Open from Tunica, Mississippi continues. And right now, Freddie Deeb, a WPT champion, out in front. He's got about 1.6 million in chips.
In second place right now, the Cinderella at the table, Brett Faustman, an amateur player out of Michigan, former collegiate wrestler. He's got 1.4 million in chips. In third place, WPT champion Hoyt Corkins with 723,000. Pro Gabe Costner in fourth place with 709,000, and Men the Master win in fifth place right now with 652,000.
And they are all going after their share of $2.4 million here tonight. It's going to be on Hoyt Corkins.
Hoyt Corkins looks down at the 10-7 of diamonds. Hoyt started at this final table in fifth chip position. He's now in third place, but opts to lay this hand down.
And now Freddie Deeb with a pair of threes.
Kind of hand you like to see a flop with in hopes you flop 3 of a kind where you can win a big pot. Freddie opts to limp in, does not raise here with the 2 threes.
Right behind him, Brett Faustman with ace-jack, also just going to call, not going to get aggressive with it.
Well, now it's over to Men the Master win. 85,000 in the pot right now, so I can't imagine he's not going to call 10,000 more with the queen 9.
Well, so far tonight, he has played tighter than Mick Jagger's leotards.
You think long, you go wrong. Hurry up.
Freddie Deeb trying to rush him here a little bit, but you're not going to rush the Master, I can tell you. He's a very deliberate player, especially when the cameras are on him. Likes to get a lot of airtime. You just have to wonder if he's thinking about raising it, Vince. I can't imagine he's going to lay it down.
Hasn't raised the pot since the year of the monkey, Mike.
Well, he does limp in and make the call.
Yes, he does.
Now, Gabe Costner with the queen deuce of spade could raise if he so desired, but he's opted to take a free flop. So we're going to have 4-way action here. And here comes a flop. That's come 8-6-5. No help to anybody. Men does have a gut shot straight draw, but he checks.
Gabe Costner quickly checking.
Freddie quickly checking as well.
So they are all yielding to Brett Faustman, the wrestler, and he's going to bet it.
Brett does bet the ace high here, trying to pick up the pot, but The master with the gut shot straight draw is going to make the call.
Gabe out. Freddie not going to play with his 3, so two-way action.
Peculiar call by men there in my mind, because if a 7 comes up, chances are he's not going to get any more action, even though he's made a straight. But see what he's going to do now. The board pairs 8s on the turn. Action is on men. And look at this, Vince. This is why the guy's a master. He's leading out and betting now with the worst hand. Going to try to steal the pot right here. Bets $120,000 with the gut shot straight draw. And right now, the wrestler's got to feel like he's in a headlock, doesn't he, Vince?
Oh.
And he's going to have to give it up. You got to chalk that pot up to the good play by Men the Master of leading out and betting on the turn here with absolutely nothing. Well, Men wins a very interesting story. Actually escaped Vietnam back in the Vietnam War days by getting on a boat in the middle of the night. Came to America, couldn't even speak English. Learned the language, took up poker, and actually started teaching poker to some of his friends. And one of them said, "You are the master."
What a silly.
And ever since then, he's been Men the Master win.
Who cheered for me? When I win the puck, you make sure you have a big crowd.
How are they going to cheer for you if you don't play a hand?
Freddie chastising his man for playing tight here this
You
evening.
don't even play a hand. How are they going to cheer for you?
I won the puck, and nobody cheered for me.
Yeah, Freddie Deeb trying to put the needle in Men a little bit there to put him on tilt so he'll gamble a little bit more.
Yep. All right, action's going to go on the Cowboy Hoyt Corkins.
Yeah, Hoyt lays down a queen 5.
80.
Round to Freddie Deeb. He's going to make it 80,000 to go with an ace-6 offsuit here.
He's going to move it up. Brent going out, and now Men the Master. He looks down at a big ace-king.
Oh, Vince, he's got Freddie dominated here.
He made me mad.
Uh-oh.
I got a raise. All you can eat, baby.
Oh, boy.
Well, he says raise all you can eat, baby, which means he's going all in, but technically you can interpret that as a string bet there. In poker, you have to say all in or announce the size of your bet or push the amount of chips you want to bet into the pot at one time. Men didn't do that. He kept going back to his stack to put the chips out there.
Well,
but
that could be construed as that. But
Shorty, don't make me mad, Shorty.
right now it's on Gabe Costner. He's got a king.
Don't make me mad,
7.
Shorty.
He goes out.
Come on, show a bluff. It's good for the game.
Freddie makes the
have to
good
show
lay
him?
down, and the Master picks up another pot.
And look at this, the crowd getting behind him.
Come on, Troy.
You're going to see it?
Yeah, I'm going to see it.
So a little momentum now for Men the Master. He's picking up pots, opening up his game a little bit. So we got a battle of great poker minds going on here at this final table.
Some big names fighting it out for the big money tonight.
Right back on Freddie. And he's got another ace. Ace-7 of hearts this time.
He raised it with the ace-6. That didn't work. It doesn't slow him down, though. He's going to raise it again with the ace-7. Comes in for 60,000.
Now Freddie playing looser than a gymnast in a steam room. Popping it up right there. And he's going to put the pressure on. But this time, Men the Master has picked up a huge hand. Pair of queens.
Notice he just calls, Vince. Does not raise here. A little surprised by that. When you have a big pair, you don't want to play against multiple players in a pot. You want to play against one person. So let's see if his strategy works out for Men. So far, so good for him, in that the small blind goes out.
And Hoyt Corkins just got an awful 9-3, though, so perhaps it'll work out. Yes, it does.
Well, he's going out as well. So Freddie D with the ace-7 of hearts. Men the Master with the 2 queens. A flop comes 10-9-5 with 2 hearts. Freddie D has flopped the nut flush draw. Men the Master has an overpair. He's got the 2 queens. We could see some serious fireworks here.
Action's got to be on Freddie. He has 4 flushed into this hand.
Well, he's going to bet the nut flush draw. 150,000.
Yes, he is. Now, man, gonna love that kind of flop.
I love the magic word.
The overpair.
All you can eat, baby.
Oh, boy. He's going back to the restaurant talk.
Well, the Master going all in here again, but again he says all you can eat, baby, and makes what I call a string bet here. You wonder if Freddie D might call him on this, because Freddie would like to see a turn card a little cheaper than putting in well over 600,000 to see one.
I think Men's family used to work in a Vietnamese buffet back in the old country, and it's just sort of a statement he likes to make every now and then.
Well, it's a trademark statement of his when he goes all in, all you can eat, baby, but let's see what's going to happen here. With the possible straight and possible flush draw out there, you can't blame Men for going over the top all in here. He has put Freddie D to the test. The question is, does Freddie want to gamble here with the nut flush draw? And Vince, Freddie Deeb is a gambling-style player, and I'm sure there's nobody he'd rather silence more at this table than Min the Master.
Well, he is the chip leader.
Well, Freddie Deeb.
641.
Looks like he's going to make this call, Vince. As we said, he's a gambling-style player, and he's going to gamble here to try to knock the Master out. And Vince, all of a sudden, the talking and the joking by the Master is going out the window. He is in serious mode right now because he knows his tournament life is on the line. He must win this pot to stay alive. Right now, he's out in front with the 2 queens, but not by that much. Really only about a 10% favorite to win this pot.
Well, the Master with some momentum so far, but this thing could be all over if a flush pops up or an ace at this point. Let's take a look at the turn.
Well, a 7 comes off. Now, that pairs Freddie, so it does give him 2 more outs, and then if a 7 comes on the river, he can also win this pot. He needs an ace, a 7, or a heart. Min the Master right now with 1 card to go, a little over a 2-to-1 favorite.
Biggest pot of the night so far. River card coming up.
It's a 6 of diamonds where the Master jumps out of his chair. He has doubled up, and he is doing a little kung fu action right now. Holding his heart, say, oh, thank you for letting my 2 ladies stand up. Wow. Well, you certainly can't blame Freddie for going with that hand. He's still going to have some chips left if he loses the pot. If he wins it, he's a monstrous chip leader at this final table. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get lucky and win the pot. The Master doubles up, and he is now the chip leader at this final table.
Stay tuned. We're coming back. 5 players remain in Tunica.
Have you got what it takes to be a WPT champion? Find out at WPT on GSN.com.
Being a former college athlete, you want people to respect you and you want them to fear you.
Steve, when you got a good hand or a bad hand?
At least on the playing field, and that's what I want them to do when I'm in a pot. I don't want them to put me on hand. I want them to be scared for their life. I want this thing. I want it bad.
Welcome back to the Gold Strike Hotel and Casino in Tunica, Mississippi. We have a new chip leader in the house. Min the Master win. He's got about 1.7 in chips.
And it's the 3rd different chip leader we've had at this final table already tonight, Vince. So the action hot and heavy in Tunica tonight.
Cards are flying. Action is going to be on the chip leader. Min the Master win. This time he's going to look down at a Queen 5 offsuit.
Man, he's going to lay it down over to Gabe Costner, who has exactly the same hand, a Queen 5 offsuit.
Young professional player from down south goes away.
Around to Hoyt Corkins now. Hoyt on the button. Looks down at a Queen Deuce offsuit. He's going to get rid of it. So once again, the battle of the blinds. Freddie's going to limp in out of the small blind with an ace 5 offsuit.
Another queen held by Brett Faustman, Queen 10. Content to see the flop. Here we go.
Well, flop comes King 5-3. Freddie has flopped middle pair with top kicker. He's got 2 5s, and he's going to bet him 30,000.
Brett Faustman hitting nothing there.
80.
Look at this. The amateur is going to raise here with absolutely nothing here. He's got Queen 10 offsuit. He's just raising because he doesn't believe Freddie's got a king in his hand, or thought he would have raised it before the flop if he'd had one of those. But notice Freddie quickly calls him, Vince. Reads this guy pretty well.
What a quick call. That was a 7 on the turn.
Potential straight out there now.
That could be a scare card. They both check it.
Well, it goes check, and Brett doesn't fire another shell at this spot. Now a 6 comes off. 4-card potential straight on the board. Action's on Freddie. He just has 2 5s, remember. He checks. Now, the only way Brett could win this pot is to bet at it. Will he have the heart
80.
to do that? He's doing it, Vince. He just bets 80,000 into a pot that's got 215,000 in it, but still, he's taking a stab at it, and then he goes back down into headrest. There's a 4-card straight, 3 overcards out there, but Freddie Deeb is looking him up, as we say.
Boy, keep the head down.
He's going to win this pot with 2 5s. And I got news for you. The wrestler's going to realize he's grappling with some of the best poker players in the world here tonight. For a guy to call you on the river with 2 5s in that situation, that is not easy to do. And as we say in poker, the #1 skill is putting your opponent on a hand. In other words, trying to figure out what 2 cards your opponent has. Freddie Deeb reads his opponents about as well as anybody in the business.
They might beat me, but my A game was still there.
And Vince, as you know, Freddie's not one of those guys that reads a lot of poker books. Here's an old school player that goes by his gut instinct. He makes calls when he thinks he's got the best hand. He makes bluffs when he thinks his opponent's weak. That's the way he plays poker, and does it very well.
A lot of guys living in parks doing that same strategy.
If I can't play that hand, I'm going to go home.
Works out there for Freddie. All right, action's going to be on the Alabama Cowboy, Hoyt Corkins. Looks down at a 10-3 of diamonds. Goes out.
Now back around to Freddie Deeb.
55.
Well, he stays aggressive. Going to make it 55,000 to go with the King 10 offsuit here. Brett quickly folding.
And now Men the Master with Ace 5 of hearts.
Well, men very aware that Freddie can raise with any 2 cards. He's just capable of playing like that. We've seen it tonight. He's raised with 4 high, ace baby cards. Here he's raising with King 10 offsuit.
Doesn't rush his process at the table.
He likes his position in that he now has over twice as many chips as Freddie. So he can afford to play pots with Freddie now, and indeed he's going to. He makes the call here with the Ace 5 of hearts.
Gabe Costner now in the big blind.
Well, he lays down the 7-3, going to get out of their way.
On you, so, I mean, I let you see the flop for free.
So the 2 little giants going at it again here, Vince.
You don't want me to think that you're picking up on me? Is that why you didn't raise me, or you don't have a hand to raise me with? You just have a hand to call with.
You got both,
double talk going on here at the flop. Jack 9-8, an open-ended straight draw there for Freddie Deeb.
Well, action's on the master. Flop didn't help him any. He checks.
Deal, please.
And Freddie checks quickly right behind him with the open-end straight draw. 4 hearts comes off on the turn. Men still out in front with the ace high. Action's on him. Well, he checks. Oh, look at this. Freddie Deeb is reaching for chips. He's saying to himself, you know, this guy checked twice in a row. Maybe don't have that much.
120.
I think I'll bet and try to take it right here. 120,000 by Freddie Deeb. And remember, men has the best hand with the ace high. But
If I cannot raise you before the flop, you know I had a big hand.
But men goes out. And once again, we see the poker instincts of Freddie Deeb coming to fruition for him. Seemingly, he knows when to call and when to bet, Vince.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Good bet.
Thank you.
Good bet, sir.
Good hand.
Good hand, too.
I was hoping you make something.
Huh?
I was hoping you make something.
I make something and do the same, Shorty.
Oh, boy.
I know your ass is mine sooner or later, but I want to keep you alive so you can play head up with me,
So you're
Shorty.
you're feeding me little chips now?
I feed you a little bit so I can play head up with you, and then I can dut you.
Thank you.
Okay? You're welcome,
2 old friends going after this title. Stay tuned. The trash talk will continue when we're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour.
Bad poker face. Hey, doesn't matter when you play online at partypoker.com. It's fun, it's easy, it's the world's largest poker room.
Welcome back to the World Poker Open here at the Gold Strike. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten. 5 players left fighting it out for over $2.5 million in prize money.
And right now, Man the Master win is the chip leader, $1.6 million. It's going to be on him.
And he's got the ace 4 offsuit, but he also has the chip lead now. Meaning you can afford to play these kind of hands when you've got chips. The man is going to raise it. He makes it 70,000 to go.
Southern professional Gabe Costner, 9 deuce. Just hasn't been picking up any cards here tonight. Has to fold that mess. And now Hoyt Corkins with an 8-5. Also won't play.
Well, round to Freddie Deeb. Freddie has the ace 10 of diamonds, and he's going to make the call. So once again, Men the Master and Freddie Deeb going at it here. They seem to clash almost every pot. Well, flop comes King, Queen, 6. Freddie Deeb has flopped the gut shot straight draw. The Jack will give him a straight. He also has the best hand right now, but he checks. See if Men will make the continuation bet here.
80.
And indeed he is. He's going to bet 80,000. And there's over 160,000 in the pot, so it's not a big bet. And when you make small bets at Freddie Deeb, he likes to call and take a card off, folks. I can tell you that. So Freddie has made the call. Here comes the turn card. Well, the King of Hearts comes off on the turn, pairing the board.
Check.
Again, Freddie checks. If you're sitting in men's seat right here, when your opponent calls you on the flop with no possible flush draw, you either put him on a pair or you put him on a straight draw. Men's going to check. He's afraid he's got the pair. Deuce of hearts comes off. Now, that's no apparent help to anybody, even though there's 3 hearts out there. You're not going to put your opponent on a backdoor flush draw, nor are you going to put him on a deuce in his hand.
And Freddie has quickly checked it. Now, will men fire with nothing here?
You got to put the pieces of the puzzle together here. And in this case, you could very well assume that Freddie had a straight draw on the flop.
Check.
Check.
So man's going to check it, hope the ace high is good, but it's not. Freddie Deeb is going to win this pot with ace 10, and he is going to love it that he's beat the master without even having a pair. You just wonder what would have happened had men tested him one more time, whether it be on the turn or the river there, Vince.
And now for an update, we are going to send it over to WPT's Kimberly Lansing, our online correspondent.
She's standing by with Layla.
Thanks, guys. I am here with the wonderful Kimberly Lansing. Now, Kimberly, what an exciting final table this is to come into, but I know you've been following the tournament all week long. I know watching the game, there's been some rivalry between Men and Freddie. Yeah. They've been having, you know, these witty kind of comments back and forth with each other.
Look at yourself. Go look at the mirror and see how ugly you are. Go look at the mirror right now.
Some people are saying it's serious. Some people are saying it's all fun and games. You know these guys. What do you think?
They're good friends. Of course, they are opponents. But, you know, it's just fun. It's verbal sparring back and forth, and it makes for some really good entertainment. So if you don't know them, you might think that they're serious.
Fantastic. Thank you. Wonderful web correspondent Kimberly Lansing, everyone.
It's always great to hear from Kimberly. She does such a wonderful job covering the early rounds of the tournament online.
Yes, she does. And for those of you at home who haven't got a chance to see that yet, you can find Kimberly's reports online at WPT on GSN.com.
Action back on Gabe Costner. Really hasn't picked up any hands at all tonight. Here he looks at a 7-deuce, lays it down.
Hoyt Corkins, he's picked up a big hand. Pair of 10s wired up for Hoyt.
Pretty big hand. He's going to raise it. Comes in for 81,000.
Pretty deep out. Brent Fossman right? With King Deuce won't call. And now men with a Jack 10 offsuit.
Probably not happy with himself for not betting that last pot one more time to put Freddie Deeb to the test. But still, he's out in front. He's the chip leader. And what do you do now with the Jack 10?
Raise him.
Well, he's going to raise with advance. He is coming over the top of the cowboy here with the Jack 10 offsuit. Hoyt Corkins has 2 10s. This is pretty amazing. You don't see the master coming over the top without a hand very often. He's doing it here. Let's see if it trips up the cowboy.
260.
Well, the master makes it 260,000 to go. Now recognize that if Hoyt makes this call, he'll have less than $500,000 left. So essentially, in my mind, if he's going to play this pot, he may have to commit all his chips. Now, obviously, as the cards lie, he would love to do just that. But I'm telling you, folks, if you're sitting in Hoyt Corkins' seat right now, this is not an easy call to make right here, even though you have way the best hand right now with 2 10s. And I say that because you're not going to put Men the Master on a small pair here. He's not going to re-raise you with a small pair most likely. He may call and take a flop, but he's not going to come over the top of you. So if you're sitting in Hoyt's seat, you're probably thinking the guy's got ace-king, ace-queen suited, or perhaps 2 jacks or 2 queens. Great players change gears. Men the Master has done it here. Let's see if it'll work for him.
Oh, look at this.
Wow, Hoyt has laid this hand down. So Men the Master has made a great come-over-the-top raise of Hoyt Corkins to earn this pot.
Show it. Good for the game. Show it.
And in poker, we have a saying, if you're going to bluff the good players because they will lay down a hand. Don't bluff bad players because they'll call you. In this case, Men bluff one of the best players in the game in Hoyt Corkins, and indeed, he did lay down a big hand. He laid down the 2 10s.
It's good for the game if you show it, man.
Men the Master taking down that pot with a great re-raise right there.
Hats off to Men the Master, making the cowboy lay down a big one. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action from the WPT in just a moment.
Welcome back to the World Poker Open here at the Gold Strike. Hey guys, I'm Layla Cayley, and here's a recap of the race to win the lion's share of the $2.4 million prize pool. The night began with a table full of superstars, and it didn't take long for one of the WPT's best to draw first blood. Two giants of the game kept up the verbal sparring.
Hello, shorty.
While a former college wrestler tried to take them both to the mat.
80.
Now 5 remain. 2 quiet pros from the south, 2 loud pros from the west,
I make something and do the same, shorty.
and 1 big amateur.
All in.
All fighting it out for a WPT title and their share of the $2.4 million prize pool. And now back to 2 guys who still have a little gamble left in them, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Thanks, Layla. We've got 1 amateur and 4 pros fighting it out for this WPT title and nearly $900,000. Current chip leader is Mid, the master win with $1.6 million in chips.
Brett Faustman is out in second chip position. He's the insurance man, the former wrestler, with about $1.2 million. And action's on him, Mike.
You played that like a genius.
He looks down at the ace-7 of diamonds here.
I play like a little good.
And the former wrestler is going to raise it up right here. Makes it $90,000 to go.
Medwin looking at a queen 6. Elects to fold. Gabe Costner.
Again, Gabe picks up a nothing hand, a 9-5 offsuit. And poker is so frustrating when you never pick up a hand. Gabe has yet to pick up a hand at this final table.
He goes out now. Hoyt Corkins with a 9-10 also won't play, so the only one to contend with is Freddie Deeb, who's got also a 9-10.
Freddie is what we call a defender in the poker world, meaning he defends his big blind. He likes to see a lot of flops when he plays poker. Figures he can outplay his opponents after the flop a lot of times. Let's see if he can do it here. Well, flop comes queen, jack, 4. Freddie Deeb has flopped the open-end straight draw.
And he has checked it. Now, Brett, nothing hitting there with his ace high. But he is going to bet it.
Well, he's made the continuation bet. Let's see if it's going to work for him. He's bet $100,000, and Freddie has a nice draw on hand. He's going to make the call. So Brett didn't like that, I'm sure. Well, now the 5 of diamonds comes off. So now Brett has a big drawing hand. He's drawing to the nut flush. He's got a diamond draw. Action's on Freddie with the open-end straight draw, and he checks.
And Brett is not going to bet the 4 flush, but he's going to catch the flush on the river. What a card.
Well, Brett Faustman has made the very best hand possible. He has the ace-high flush. Action is on Freddie Deeb, but I'm sure he feels like the only way he can win this pot is to bet at it. Unfortunate for him, whatever he bets is going into Brett's stack.
That would be just a complete debacle. So if he should make this misstep here.
Well, he better be very careful here.
Control yourself, Freddie.
400.
Oh, man. 400,000 he's betting.
Well, he's betting a pot-sized bet. And look at this. Brett slams his chips down. Acts like he's frustrated. He has the very best hand possible, folks. So,
Get a flush? Freddie, I'm talking.
Do you have a flush, he asks. Oh, boy. Summer stock before our very eyes. Got the cinch. You got Freddie D betting 400,000 into your pocket.
What do you got there?
Now he says to Freddie, how much have you got there?
Oh, you don't see my money?
Oh, boy.
We know Brett is going to raise this pot. Just a matter of when and how much. And when he does, the hand's over because there's no way Freddie can call him with 10 high.
All in.
Well, there he goes. He goes all in. And Freddie Deeb is sick right now. He can't call, obviously.
You hit the flush?
Oh, does it really matter, Freddie? Come on.
You don't want to talk no more now?
A lot of theatrics going on here in Tunica, Mississippi. Showtime at 7.
All right, I passed the 3-4s.
Oh, wow.
Well, Freddie says I lay down the 3-4s.
Oh, the junks are piling up here in the casino.
And Freddie actually had the 10 highs, all he had. Brett Faustman taking down that pot, making the nut flush, and he stands up.
And with that pot, guess what, Mike? We got a new chip leader.
Well, indeed we do. Cinderella back at the ball with the chip lead. The lone amateur at this table has taken the lead once again. Advanced WPT champ Freddie Deeb took a big hit there. He came to this final table as chip leader. He's now low man on the totem pole.
3 months later.
Yep. Freddie's cards have gone colder than a child star's career after puberty.
Oh, boy. It's on Freddie Deeb, who just took that big hit in the last pot.
Where is it?
But Freddie is a warrior.
80.
He looks down at ace-4 of clubs. He's going to raise it again. Makes it 80,000 to go.
Now, he could be steaming a little from that last hand. Brett Faustman is going to fold his 10-6.
Now around to men the master win with the king-queen offsuit. Now, men very well aware that Freddie can be raising on any 2 cards here, especially after losing a big pot in the previous hand.
Men likes his position, and yes, he is going to make the call here. Now onto the small blind, Gabe Costner. And Gabe's got an ace-queen.
Well, Vance far and away the best hand he's picked up at this final table.
Gabe has been whittled down here tonight.
Well, Vance, he's got a tough decision as to what to do himself here. He knows Freddie could be raising with anything, especially after he lost the last pot. Men wasn't quite strong enough to come over the top of him and raise. He did make the call, though, so you gotta figure ace-queen might be the best hand here. That hand, a very notorious hand here on the World Poker Tour. Doesn't seem like guys fare too well with the ace-queen at these final tables, but in this situation, the way this hand has been played, you very well could feel like you have the best hand with the ace-queen here.
Raise it up.
Well, he is going to raise it.
Really don't have enough to make a good bet, so I'm just going to go all in.
Well, there you go. The Prince of Thieves going all in with his ace-queen.
Vance, he did our analysis for us, explaining why he's going all in. He just doesn't have enough chips to make another size raise.
Hoyt has gone out. And it's back around to Freddie.
Well, right now, Freddie Deep's sinking like the Titanic here, and he knows it. He's got to try to right the ship, but not this time. He lays down the ace-4, and wisely so. He was dominated, as is men the master win.
I know you make a move. You had a best hand.
But it's an additional $504,000, a lot of money.
Well, there's about $800,000 sitting in the pot.
You know what Freddie
Costner gotten this tournament through $1,000 satellite.
You think I'm called? You think I'm called with the weak hand? That's why you did it.
Finally, he's picking up a hand. He's plummeted all the chips in, and right now he's got to sweat this out because men is making him sweat.
I'm very sure you had a small pair 7 for sure, pair 8.
Well, all these guys at this table trying to join the likes of the Devilfish, Barry Greenstein, Scotty Wynn, as champions of this event. In last year's tournament, Brian Sumner defeated 2 former WPT Players of the Year, Daniel Negreanu and J.C. Tran, to take down this title.
Did I show my hand to show your hand?
Oh, so.
The Prince of Thieves is saying, no way, no payee, no peaky.
Oh, I like that.
See it on TV.
I bet you may have a pair 7 and pair 8 there.
Oh, and men is finally going to lay down the hand. So Gabe Costner finally picking up a pot, but he had to go all in to do it.
Well, he does take down that pot. He's happy to get it done. And men the master curious as to what he had, because Gabe did not show his cards. He mucked them quietly.
His girlfriend Claudia very excited in the audience, also a professional cash player. And right now, Gabe Costner taking down that pot. 5 players will remain here in Tunica, going after a big prize. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour.
There's a story in every seat on the WPT. Find in-depth coverage on your favorite players online at WPT on GSN.com.
I've never played poker on TV before, so the biggest things I got to try to stick to my game, not worry about the cameras, and I relax, and I keep the camera, out of my mind and just stick to my game.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. The World Poker Open from Tunica, Mississippi continues. We have a 5-race battle going on right now.
And right now, the amateur player from Michigan, Brett Faustman, the former collegiate wrestler. He wrestled for the Central Michigan Chippewas. He's the chip leader here tonight with $1.8 million in chips. Men the master win in second place with $1.5 million. Gabe Costner now in third place with $916,000. Hoyt Corkins in fourth place. And Freddie Deeb bringing up the rear. So the 2 WPT champions are low men right now in terms of chip count.
Gabe is quickly folded. And now Hoyt Corkins, the cowboy from Alabama, with a pair of 6s, going to bump this up.
And he's got Route 66. He's going to make it $75,000 to go.
Freddie Deeb quickly folds his hand.
75.
And now Brett Faustman in the small blind. Very interested about his chip stack. Brett's got Jack-9 offsuit.
He's got the Jack-9 offsuit. He does have the chip
You
lead.
look good on camera. Handsome.
He's still got a man behind him yet to act. Does he want to gamble here?
So 60 to call?
You might attract to a lot of young girls when they watch you.
Well, he's going to gamble here. He calls 60,000 more.
Look at this. The wrestler is going to stick around with that junk. And now, man, the master is going to look at an awful 8-3, and he goes away.
Menful.
So here we go. It's Hoyt with the 2 6s. Brett has the Jack-9 offsuit. Here comes a flop. Now flop comes ace-4 deuce with 2 spades. Action's on Brett. He checks.
And now Hoyt with the pair of 6s.
And Hoyt is just going to figure out whether or not he thinks Brett has an ace in his hand. If he doesn't have an ace in his hand, Hoyt figures to have the best hand with the 2 6s. And Hoyt is going to test the water. He's going to bet 90,000 here. And there's 200,000 in the pot.
Oh, yeah, and the wrestler's going to say, Uncle, he folds his hand.
Well, that's a nice bet by Hoyt Corcoran. And I say that because he bet just enough to get the information he needed there to see if he had the best hand or not. He didn't jeopardize a whole lot of money because had his opponent had an ace, he would have come over the top of him.
Big one, huh? You had a wheel draw. I can see it.
Hoyt Corkins, he's made a final table on the WPT 4 different times. He's been a champion.
He's also finished second and third before, Vince. Never lower than third place.
Right.
Pretty impressive stuff right there. And in fact, when he finished second to the great Gus Hansen, he got very unlucky not to win that tournament.
All right, cards going round and round once again. Action right back on Hoyt. Time he's going to peek down at a king deuce of clubs. He goes out. And now Freddie Deeb.
Oh, wow. Freddie's got 2 aces here. He's raising it, making it 80,000 to go. And right now he's saying his poker prayers. Please, somebody raise me. Somebody make a move so I can double up here.
Well, he's getting action because a pair of 4s right behind him by Brett. He's made the call. Men out.
Well, round to Gabe in the big blind now. Gabe has the 7-4 of diamonds. Does he want to speculate here? Nope. He lays his hand down. So Freddie D with the 2 aces. Brett with the 2 4s. Here comes the flop. Well, it's come Queen 9-8 with 2 spades. Freddie's got less than 200,000 left. I can't imagine he's just not going to ship it in right now.
I'm all in.
Indeed he is. Freddie moves all in, and Brett moves all out with the 2 4s. So Brett showed great restraint not re-raising Freddie before the flop with the small pair because Freddie was on a short stack there. Freddie D picks up the 2 aces and picks up a pot. And right now, I'm sure he's glad to get one.
You're watching the best poker on television right here on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the Gold Strike Hotel and Casino in Tunica, Mississippi. 5 players remain. And right now, it is Brett Faustman, the former wrestler, insurance man. He's got about 1.7 million in chips.
Just an incredible story here. This amateur, the chip leader at this final table with 3 big-name pros in the poker world at this final table. 2 WPT champions, Hoyt Corkins and Freddie Deeb, as well as a card player of the year on multiple occasions, men the master win. So if this amateur is going to take this title, he's going to have a tough go of it, Benson.
All right, action's going to be on Freddie Deeb. Quickly folds his hand. And now our chip leader, Brett Faustman, with ace-5 of diamonds.
Well, he just calls, does not raise with the ace-5.
Behind him, the master quickly folding. And now the Prince of Thieves, Gabe Costner. Going to look down at a 7-4.
Well, it's not much of a hand, but there's a lot of money out there. 95,000 in the pot, going to cost him 15,000 more to make the call. So he's doing it.
And the big blind is Cowboy Hoyt Corkins. He's got King 8.
He says, okay, go ahead and give us a flop. So here we go, 3-way action. Well, the flop comes Jack 9-5 with 2 clubs.
Brett Faustman caught a piece of that pair of 5s.
Well, Gabe checks, Hoyt checks, and Brett checks the bottom pair.
Yes, he does. Oh, boy, unfortunate for him because a king on the turn hits Hoyt.
Well, Hoyt now has top pair, but action's on Gabe. And look at this, Vance. The Prince of Thieves trying to thieve this pot with a 7 high here. He's got a 7-4 offsuit, yet here he comes, firing 80,000 at the pot. There's a potential straight out there, 2 clubs out there. Hoyt has a pair of kings. He's going to find out where he's at right now, Vince. He's not going to be put to the test on the river. He is raising it right here, makes it 200,000 to go.
Brett going out.
Well, we're back to Gabe.
Yep.
And Vince, he certainly cannot call this. He has no hand and no draw. So he's either going to have to raise and move all in, or he's going to have to throw his hand away.
Well, he was pushing a fluff and puff show. We saw that. Just did not work. And he looks very defeated here, as he should be. No, he's going to let it go. You know, Hoyt hits the pair of kings. He only has an 8 kicker, and yet he raises. Just no fear poker right there. Wanted to find out where he was.
Oops.
A lot of players just would have called it.
One card was
You're right, but when you just call it, if the 4 straight card comes out there, the board pairs something else, you know, now you have a problem there. So Hoyt wanted to eliminate all those problems, wanted to make just a moderate-sized raise, just to sort of feel his way around to see where he's at.
Yep.
The guy comes over the top of you there, maybe you want to get away from it and just muck it and not lose any more money with it. But you don't want to be put to a big test at the river if the 4 straight card comes out or something else where you might get yourself in trouble by calling it there on the turn.
And the Cowboy sits high in his saddle once again. Action's going to be on Brett Faustman.
80.
He's got ace-jack this time, and he's going to move it up for a raise.
Well, comes in for 80,000 here.
And the master quickly folding.
Round to Gabe Costner. Gabe took a stab at that last pot trying to steal it. That didn't work. Here he has a king-9 offsuit. Now, in my mind, when a guy raises in front of you, this is a very easy hand to get away from. Just don't want to be calling raises with a king-9. But it doesn't look like Gabe is going anywhere.
I get 220.
Wow, he is not calling, Vince. He's coming right over the top. He's going to make it 220,000 to go.
A very creative move right here. But this could backfire because right behind him, Hoyt Corkins has ace-king.
I'm all in.
Well, Hoyt Corkins is going for it all right here.
Freddie and Brett quickly go out.
I'll put 220 in there.
Back around to Gabe Costner, who took a stab there, but this could have backfired in a huge way for him. Up against the Cowboys' big slick. Wow.
Vince, I don't know what the guy can be waiting on now. You just can't imagine he's going to call all his chips off here.
6.
To a third raiser in the pot for over $500,000. I mean, to me, this is just a fluff and puff show.
Well, it's a down the line, trying to establish who he is at the table. They don't know he has nothing, and he wants to maybe say later on, you know, I had a big hand, I laid it down. Got to give him a little time, Mike.
I don't give him any time in this situation with this hand. All I can think about is tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The blinds and antes are going up, and the guy's wasting time. Now, I'll be the first to apologize if he makes the call here for all his money. But as the cards lie, he is dominated. Hoyt has ace-king. Gabe has king-9. Now, maybe because he's folded so many hands so far tonight here, he's tried to steal a couple on the road, and it hasn't worked. He's just trying to get a little airtime, but he finally does lay his hand down. So Hoyt Corkins taking down that pot, and for the first time tonight, Hoyt Corkins crosses the $1 million chip mark.
Yeehaw, the Alabama Cowboy wins that cattle drive. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action from the World Poker Tour.
Get stats, videos, and in-depth profiles on all your favorite WPT players.
Only at WPT on GSN.com.
Welcome back to the Gold Strike Casino here in Tunica, Mississippi. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten. 5 players left fighting it out to become the World Poker Open champion.
Back down to the table, we got Men the Master. Superstar player in first position right now. Quickly folds his hand.
Well, we're around to Gabe Costner now, who's taken a couple hits in the last couple pots. Here he looks down at an ace-jack offsuit. Not a bad hand in this situation. The kind of hand you just can't afford to throw away.
Got this tournament through $1,000 satellite, a bargain. With a shot of big money here today, and he's going to raise it. Makes it $100,000 to go with an ace-jack. Into the man with the momentum at the moment, the Cowboy, Hoyt Corkins.
He looks down at 2 snowmen. He's got a pair of 8s. He caps his cards. Going to be interesting to see how he plays this hand. He's just going to call. Does not raise here in this situation with the 2 8s.
Freddie out, Brett not playing. So two-way action. 8s up against ace-jack. 2 good old boys from the South battling here.
Well, here comes the flop. Well, it's come Queen 10-3 with 2 hearts. Action's going to be on Gabe.
Nothing hitting, but that doesn't matter for him.
Wow.
He's gone all in.
Hoyt Corcoran stands up. Once again, Hoyt faced with a very tough decision as to what to do.
The Cowboy up in his stirrups here.
Now, we can see he's got the best hand with the 2-8s, but he doesn't know it. He doesn't know his opponent hasn't hit a queen or a 10 on the flop or have an overpair to start with. And let me tell you, folks, right now he's going to have to cowboy up real big to make this call with just 2-8s. Remember the last time Hoyt had to face the big decision as to what to do. He had 2 10s. He raised it before the flop. Men, the master, came over the top of him with a couple $100,000 raise, and he threw the 2 10s away when Men was bluffing with the Jack 10. Here, his opponents moved all in with just an ace-jack, and Hoyt's got an underpair. He's got the 2-8s. What do you do with the mid-pair here? He lays it down. You can't blame him, Vince.
No.
I think where he might criticize himself later is for not re-raising pre-flop with the 2-8s to sort of feel where he's at, to take the lead in the hand, to take command.
That queen ain't there. I'm going. That queen could have been a 3 or a deuce or something. No.
Mid-pair, didn't
I had a smaller pair. I had a pair of 8s. But that queen got me. Because, I mean, even if you got ace-jack, you almost even. You know.
Shrewd play happening here at Tunica, Mississippi. Gabe Costner, the Prince of Thieves, taking down the pot. He is staying alive. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action in just a moment.
Winning Legends last year was really an incredible experience. Going to the final table, I didn't know what to expect. The whole TV show experience, having the girls come and bring the money out, having the whole crowd being into it, it was really amazing.
The moment of actually winning the Poker Classic, as you will recall, that was essentially my first tournament that I ever played in.
Here it is. He's done it. The 9 of hearts. He'll take home $2.4 million.
My blood, I think, had completely and utterly disappeared from my body. I was just standing there on pure adrenaline.
And when I won, I was just really excited.
Here comes Fifth Street. The Queen of Spades. He's done it.
And I didn't know what to do at that point because I'd been focused on this tournament for 4 days. And then I was like, now what do we do? I was lost.
It came and went so quickly, so...
Well, here's to the champion of the LA Poker Classic, Eric Herschler.
I'm pretty much not yet recovered from the exhilaration.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. Fast play down here in the slow South as the World Poker Open continues five-handed.
Our current chip leader is Men the Master Win. He's got a little over $1.7 million in chips. Second place, the amateur from Michigan, the former collegiate wrestler Brett Faustman with $1.6 million in chips. Hoyt Corkins with just over $1 million in chips. And right now, WPT champ Freddie Deeb on the short stack with $320,000.
Let's go back down to the table. It's going to be on the Master.
He quickly goes out around to Gabe Costner. Gabe's shown a lot of life in his game lately. Made a number of moves. Most of them haven't worked out, but still, you like to see the guy making moves.
This time he's got a Jack 7 of hearts.
I'm on.
Wow. He has gone all in with a Jack 7, folks. Now, we know his nickname is Prince of Thieves. Now, we thought it because his last name is Costner, and Kevin Costner starred in a movie about Robin Hood called Prince of Thieves.
That's right.
But the truth is, he could have got that nickname because he's a thief at the table.
He certainly is. Cowboy goes out, Freddie out, Brett out, so he's done it again. The Prince of Thieves taking another pot, and I'll tell you why he's so good with that. In the beginning, he plays so tight, very solid. Don't think he's going to make any moves, and then he just makes these tremendous steals, and it's very effective.
Johnny, can I take a break and let Claudia play for me?
He can play with the big boys.
You want to play?
He's showing it here this evening.
This is actually the first big tournament I've played in. I play about 6 days a week, probably 10 or 12 hours a day in cash games for 6 or 7 years. So I do have a lot of experience playing poker.
What a play by Gabe Costner. Moving all in with a Jack 7 to take down that pot. Since he's never been to a WPT final table before, but I can tell you, this guy's got some game.
Yes, he does. And Freddie Deeb up from the table.
We only got 3 kids,
his
14,
wife,
12, and 11.
Getting her front row seats to watch him play.
Me neither.
Can't do any worse than he has tonight.
Tim and Melissa.
His wife, Hanan, just flew in from Vegas.
Yeah, we got 3, 14, 12, and 11.
Freddie happy to see her here. You can see his spirits are lifted already. And he needs his spirits lifted right now because his stack is being depleted.
Perhaps having his wife here, it'll turn it around.
I thought I left, but I'm still here, I guess.
Well, let's see if it does. Let's go back to the action. It's going to be on Hoyt Corkins.
And he's going to look down at a 7-5 of diamonds. And he elects to fold.
So action's over on Freddie. Freddie looks down at a pair of sevens. He has about 300,000 left. So, wow, he's just betting 80,000 here. I would have thought he'd just gone all in with the 2 sevens, but let's see what happens.
Brett's gone out. And now men the master with an ace-8 in the small blind. Will he foil Freddie Deeb?
I'll tell you, if you're sitting in men's seat, you got to think Freddie's got a much stronger hand than he does. You would have thought with any kind of marginal hand, Freddie would have just moved all in. He didn't do that. He made a kind of raise that looks like he wants you to play, so men wants no part of it.
Gabe Costner with an ace-5.
Just put them all in, Freddie, and see who wins.
Huh?
Just put them all in.
Well, Gabe's got a worse hand, and he goes all in with the ace-5 offsuit. Now, maybe he's doing it because Freddie's the only guy at the table with fewer chips than him, so I won't get busted even if he loses the pot. Still a very daring play in my mind by Gabe Costner here. And I say that because he's got to figure Freddie Deeb is pot committed here. He just doesn't have that many chips left, only got about 200,000 left. Just can't imagine he's going to lay it down for all that money.
Well, Gabe Costner's won the last few hands just by saying all in, all in, all in. You know, he's getting into a habit. Sometimes when that happens, you keep winning pots. It's easier to say the next time because he has said it again, and this is a big moment for him tonight.
217 more I got. You put the 8 in already?
Yeah.
Freddie's got 217,000 left. As the cards lie, he's a substantial favorite to win this pot, but he doesn't know it. He figures at best he's got the under pair and his opponent's got the 2 overcards, but that is not the case.
All right, I call.
Well, he's making the call. He's decided to go for it here. I like this call by Freddie Deeb, not just because he's got way the best hand, but because he recognized that he's going to have to gamble to get hold of some chips sometime. Why not go for it right here?
And he's got ace-5, and I got 2 sevens. That's pretty good.
Well,
They show TV anyway.
you know, men telling the world he had an ace-8 offsuit.
You can see it.
I just didn't feel like playing. Let's see if he made a good laydown or not. Well, flop comes queen 9-8. Well, the master would have got him with 2 8s, but right now, Freddie is out in front of Gabe.
Just think optimistic. The more outs.
Freddie's got to dodge an ace or 2 running cards that make a straight.
Ace.
Otherwise, he's going to double up.
A 6 on the turn.
I got 2 cards.
What that means is Freddie does not want to see a 7. He does not want to make 3 of a kind here because that would give his opponent a straight.
It'd be hard for me to hit a 7.
Gabe must catch an ace or a 7 to win this pot and eliminate Freddie Deeb from this tournament.
Freddie Deeb holding on by dental floss. Can he hold off one more card? Here comes the river.
Yes.
Yeah, he's done it.
It's a deuce of spade.
Lucky kiss, baby.
Well, look at that. Freddie Deeb going over to get a lucky kiss from his wife. She just got here, remember? And Freddie Deeb doubles up on the first hand. Vince, that's a lucky wife.
Yes, it is. Freddie Deeb dodging extinction here at Tunica. Stay tuned. He's going to stick around. Hope you will, too. We're coming back with more action from Mississippi in just a moment here on the World Poker Tour.
It's a human nature. We're always hungry. No matter how much money we got, no matter how many titles we have.
Freddie Deeb is our champion.
We're always trying to do better. I got big ambitions. It's not about being greedy. I'm always here to win. It's about I always want to be the number 1.
Welcome back to the WPT. The World Poker Open continues from the Gold Strike Hotel and Casino. And the antes are going up to 5,000. The blinds are going to be 20 and 40,000.
We've got 1 amateur, 4 professionals fighting it out for a nearly $900,000 first place prize and a coveted WPT title.
And the action's going to go to the chip leader. Men, the master win. He's got 1.7 million in chips. He's going to quickly fold this hand.
And Gabe Costner, the short stack, has less than $250,000 now. Action's on him. Here he looks down at a 5 deuce. Gonna throw that away.
Into Hoyt Corkins. Alabama Cowboy with an ace-9.
And he's up against the 2 blinds. See what he's going to do. And he's going to raise it. Makes it 100,000 to go. Now, that's not a big raise when blinds are 20 and 40,000. Action's over on the other WPT champ, Freddie Deeb.
He's got a pretty good king, queen of hearts.
Well, what do you do in this situation when you have less than 600,000 in chips? Do you call the 100,000? Do you move all in over the top?
All in.
Do you throw your hand away? Well, Freddie Deeb moves all in. So he's raising it all in, another 480,000.
Red has gone out.
Well, we are back to Hoyt Corkins and Vince. Once again, Hoyt faced with a very tough decision as to what to do. We've seen him get outplayed several times here. When he's coming to the pot and guys have come over the top, he's folded the best hand. And that could very well happen again, Vince, because you just can't think that an ace-9 is the best hand in this situation. I think part of Hoyt's problem is he's making these smallish bets and getting away from these hands. His style seems to work better when he makes big bets at the pot, puts pressure on his opponents and makes them call the bets. One thing about Hoyt Corkins, he doesn't like to call his money off. He doesn't mind betting it off. But because of the WPT cam, we can see he's got the best hand right here. Obviously, he doesn't know it and is faced with a very tough decision. And he's going to lay it down, and I can't blame him, Vince. I would have laid it down, too. I mean, it's very easy. Your opponent could have ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, or a pair, something that's certainly better than your ace-9. I'm going to make a prediction right now, Vince. You're not going to see any more small raises like that by Hoyt Corkins.
Yeah, that's right. Don't go to conventional stuff there, Hoyt.
He's going to get back to his game, and that's making big bets at the pot.
Yeah. All right, cards being dealt. First to act is Gabe, Prince of Thieves Costner. And Gabe on the short stack looks down at a 7-6 offsuit.
Well, Vince's problem is he's only got a couple 100,000 left. Blinds are 20 and 40,000. He's going to be in the big blind on the next hand. I mean, what do you do here?
That's what you do. You put the chips in there. He has gone all in with just a 6-7 and a hope and a prayer. Cowboy's gone out. Freddie out. Brett has folded. Only one player to beat. They had to confiscate this hand, and that is Ben the Master. And he's got just a 6-deuce, it looks like.
Well, you just don't want to double a guy up with a hand that bad, so Ben lays his hand down.
And the Prince of Thieves going to take a pot with a 6-7. Nice chutzpah by him there.
Well, Vince, I think that was more on reputation than anything else. Certainly wasn't on his chip stack they got out. Nobody had much of a hand, but still, you'd think somebody might call, and that's it.
In poker, it's good to have multiple personalities. I'm always mixing up my play to keep people guessing. Who will I be this hand? Trapping Gus, who check raises your chips away? Aggressive Gus, who plays every hand no matter what? How I play is up to you. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.
Situation to try to eliminate him.
Gabe Costner taking that pot. Hard to get rid of another player here at the World Poker Open. The action's going to go to the Cowboy. Hoyt Corkins, WPT champion, going after his second title. This time looks down at a Jack-9 offsuit. Folds it. Freddie quickly folding as well. Brett not going to play.
Well, we're around to the small blind. Ben the Master, the chip leader, up against the short stack. Ben looks down at a Jack-10 offsuit.
All you can eat, baby.
Again, he says that crazy line.
I ain't got enough to fold.
Well, Vince, he's only up against one guy, the big blind. Gabe has picked up the ace-3 of hearts. He's made the call very quickly. And Vince, for the second time, we've seen men make a nice big move with the Jack-10 offsuit. He did it earlier against Hoyt Corkins, but here, I don't fault him for making this play. He's the chip leader. His opponent has to have ace-high or king-high or something like that to make the call to start with. So I don't fault men for moving all in here against the short stack with a Jack-10 out of the small blind.
I know y'all want me out of here.
Now he's going to have to get lucky to eliminate the guy from the tournament. Let's see if he can do it. Now the flop comes 9-7-3 with two spades. So Gabe has made 2 threes. Men can catch an 8 to make a straight, which would end this pot.
8-10 jack.
He can catch a jack or a 10 to take the lead. Needs a jack, 10, or an 8.
10 jack.
Here comes a turn card. Everybody on their feet here.
Deuce.
Ace of clubs. Well, Gabe clapped, but it's not over yet. Men can catch an 8 and make a jack high straight. That's what he's going to have to catch to win this pot.
That would be some suck out we'd be seeing here. in Mississippi. Can he get it?
It's going to have to be an 8 for men to win this pot. Let's see if he can catch the snowman. Nope. 4 spade comes off. Well, Gabe clapped for himself, and deservedly so. Made a tough call for all his chips there with the ace-3 offsuit.
All right, so right there, Dave Costner's going to double up. 5 players remain. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action here on the World Poker Tour.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. Tough poker in Tunica tonight. 5 players left, 1 amateur, 4 pros, fighting it out for this coveted WPT title.
So we're talking about a big $2.4 million here in Tunica. Started out this event with 259 players, all putting up 10,000, down to these 5 at this point.
2 of these players going for their second WPT title tonight. That's Hoyt Corkins and Freddie Deeb. The other 3 players going for their first.
All right, Freddie Deeb, first to act, and he's got a huge hand. Pair of queens.
Indeed he does. He's going to raise it. Makes it 110,000 to go with the 2 ladies.
Then right behind him, Brett Faustman, the former wrestler, with ace-7 of diamonds. He's going to stick around. He's called it.
Ben the Master going out. Down to Gabe Costner.
Well, this time he's got ace-5 of clubs.
Well, you can sense he's tempted to call, Vince, just because of the amount of chips that could go in this pot, but still, against 2 other players, you're not really looking to play an ace-5, I wouldn't think. This was the hand he got burned on a little while ago against Freddie Deeb, was the ace-5 offsuit when he doubled Freddie back up. But he's going to lay it down, and a good lay down it was. Hoyt Corkins going out as well. So Freddie Deeb with the 2 queens, Brett Faustman with the ace-7 of diamonds. Here comes the flop. The flop is 9-5 deuce, all different suits. Action's on Freddie. He's got the overpair, and he's going to bet.
Yeah, he's not going to mess around. He wants to get the value for them, not get outdrawn. He's going to make them pay, if they want to play, $180,000 into Brett.
And look at this, Vince. Brett Faustman riffling his chips, not mucking his hand. Just can't imagine he's going to make a call here. So to me, all he can be thinking about is coming over the top or mucking his hand. If he comes over the top in this situation, Freddie Deeb is not going anywhere.
Well, it's the perfect flop there for Freddie. 3 undercards. And you're just hoping that your bet looks suspicious enough so that the sucker re-raises you.
Well, Vance, Brett must be thinking about coming over the top here. Certainly not going to call with an ace-7. Well, Brett does make the right play. Finally lays it down. But it's like he just didn't believe Freddie Deeb there.
This flush putting you all in there, Freddie.
I thought you were doing a Hollywood act, like early when you had the flush.
That's why I think it would have worked. I had big cards, though.
Obviously, Brett was thinking about coming over the top and trying to take that pot away from Freddie. Lucky for him, I think, that he didn't do that.
And I'll tell you something, Mike. The lady is in the house, and that is Freddie's wife. She is the lucky charm of the South right now because he is 3 for 3 while she's been here.
And Vince, Freddie Deeb has been around the World Poker Tour since day 1. In fact, he made the first final table in the history of the World Poker Tour. That event at Bellagio that Gus Hansen won, that also featured Scotty Wynn, WPT champ, John Hennigan, WPT champ, John Juwanda, extremely tough player. What a table that was, and what a table we've got again tonight.
Yeah, Season 6, battling it out here in Mississippi. Action's going to go to Man the Master. Still our chip leader with about 1.4 million.
Man looks down at the queen deuce of clubs, lays it down.
And now Gabe Costner. He's got a wired pair of 5s here.
Yeah, but he's got the speed limit hand. He's the short stack at the table. He's going to raise it here, makes it 100,000 to go. Over to Hoyt Corkins now. He's got ace-jack. He is coming over the top. He's going to bet 300,000. Freddie Deeb quickly out. Brett Faustman out as well.
All in.
Gabe Costner says all in with his 5s.
Well, he's making a stand right here, Vince.
Master stack.
He'll put the pressure back on Hoyt, but I don't think it's enough to really push him around.
Well, Vince, there's over $1 million in the pot. Going to cost Hoyt a little less than 400,000 to make the call, so I can't imagine he's going to lay it down.
No.
Well, I'm behind again, but I call.
He said, I got to call you.
You got overs, I'm sure. I said, you got overs, I'm sure.
Well, here we go. Another race situation. It's the under pair versus 2 over cards.
That's pot committed.
Yeah, to get one.
Well, Vince, this is another dubious play, in my opinion, by Gabe Costner. And I say that because Forty's going to be pot committed to play this pot. And the best scenario the guy can be in is a race situation here. Now, yes, he may win the pot with the 2 5s and double up, but I believe he's walking across thin ice making these kind of plays when guys are pot committed to play with him.
Gabe Costner's girlfriend, Claudia, sweating her man. She's also a professional player down here in the South.
I guess I should have moved all in.
Well, Hoyt Corkins going over to talk to Todd Brunson, a terrific poker player in his own right, son of the famed Hall of Fame poker player Doyle Brunson.
I couldn't believe, but I'm pot committed. You couldn't take a hammer and knock me out.
All right, let's see that flop.
I said you have to put your money in there.
Yeah, I was thinking somebody's seen an ace, so probably put it in there.
Well, here comes a flop. Well, it's come ace, 8, 6. Hoyt Corkins has outflopped Gabe Costner. He is out in front right now with 2 aces. Gabe is going to have to catch a 5 or 2 running cards to make it straight. Otherwise, he's going to be our 5th place finisher.
Well, it's a 6. It's going to pair the board of 6s. Gabe Costner in a lot of trouble. Just a couple 5s left of the deck.
Well, Vince, you can look at his face and see he's in dire straits here. He knows he's got 2 outs. He must catch a 5 on the river to stay alive. But the 7 of clubs pops up, so that's going to do it for the pro from Mississippi. Gabe Costner is out in 5th place.
That's right. A fine effort by the Prince of Thieves. Our 5th place finisher going to take home $123,000. Came in onto a $1,000 satellite. So we are down to 4 players. We got 3 big name players up against an amateur. Mike, they're going after $900,000.
Very exciting night, Vince. Who's going to take down the title of World Poker Open Champion? We'll be back next week. Join us.
See y'all.
Next time on the World Poker Tour.
Are you big lying? I haven't looked before the flop.
What a liar you are. You want to play a bad hand? It's okay to play a bad hand.
I knew there was a reason I never missed an episode of the World Poker Tour. I'm studying to play you, Hoyt.
You know, I win a lot of tournaments. I'm the master, man. You little boy.
Who do you think I am? Hey, it ain't my first day at the rodeo, man.